My name's Alec. I'm the lead content creator on Liberty Rising. This channel is an idea that me and some other members of the Constitution Party came up with to showcase how liberty and the principles that brought about the United States Constitution can be used to offer solutions to many of our modern problems. On this episode, I'd like to talk about social responsibility. When I first briefly went to college for business and marketing, one of the first things they taught us about business was a business only exists to make profit. However, one of the first things they taught me in marketing was social responsibility marketing. This is a form of marketing that has nothing to do with making money. They told us social responsibility marketing was utilizing your social influence to make political change. I argued that this would create unnecessary divisions in our culture and society, as this was right around 2016, where America seemed divided as ever, and telling business owners to tell their customers what they should vote for when it had nothing to do with the industry they were in didn't seem healthy for our subconscious. But I was only met with arguments that this was a necessary thing to prevent what is essentially the world ending. This kind of fear-mongering is based in almost a religious devotion to liberal causes without much knowledge about them, as not a single person in my class or my professor was educated on the political issues that we were being told to elevate, all of which just so happen to be left-wing. What I first want to focus on isn't so much social responsibility marketing, as so much the responsibility these institutions were elevating. Like communists and fascists, they're almost entirely focused on collectivism. They only view individuals as having a responsibility to the collective, and therefore everything to do with social responsibility is focused on politics. I can't sit there and debate with them about making voluntary grassroots efforts, because that insists that individuals are free to make their own decisions, and that we should respect someone who might just want to buy a burger. No, they're actually not focused on saving humanity. They're more focused on convincing humanity to give up their freedom to politicians to make all the decisions for them. More people are buying into this, not just because they went off to college at a young age and this was their first exposure to these ideologies, but also because they've dealt with narcissistic people in their lives. And most of us don't want a narcissistic person, especially one who's destructive, to flourish in society. However, giving up our freedom for the security that collectivists are offering often leads to a small group of people rising to power, and that attracts a lot of narcissists. So you wind up just being governed by narcissists again. Individualism is not this. Individualism is every individual being able to govern themselves, and that does not mean they are free from responsibility, and in fact it makes them responsible for a lot more. While one of those responsibilities may be to tolerate your neighbors, which collectivists may see as a good thing until it comes to tolerating a narcissist, no one is actually practicing personal responsibility under collectivism, because no one is actually responsible for anything under collectivism. Except for a few politicians and social influencers, everyone else in a sense is a slave. They're given everything, they're told what they need to plant, how they need to work, they are doctored by the public, fed by the public, and raised by the public, which also means everything they have belongs to the public. This doesn't foster true responsibility, as everyone is just doing what they're told or what they have to do. Look at it this way: if everyone is getting what they need, why would you ever go out of your way to offer something extra to guests? Why would you focus on raising your kids when that is everyone else's responsibility? Why give 110% in anything? Nothing becomes your responsibility because everything is being managed by somebody else. Under individualism, all those things I just talked about becomes an individual's responsibility. And while that does allow people to forsake these responsibilities, when they do, it doesn't force everyone else to carry their burdens. Now, if you're a collectivist hearing this, you might automatically assume that that person struggling is some unfortunate single mother who has done nothing wrong. However, in many cases, it's actually the narcissists who find themselves in this situation. If you look at it at business, if a business is doing poorly in an economic system developed by individuals, that business will fail. But maybe it was a business that was supposed to fail, so that other smaller companies that might be treating their employees better, might be making a better product, rise to back up to the top. And we can't really blame individualism for all the greedy companies around us when they're the ones taking part in collectivist policies, getting handouts from government, and getting bailouts from government. An insane amount of all our spending during the political reaction to the coronavirus was simply the government propping up these businesses that should have failed and choking the businesses that should have been flourishing. That also isn't to say that the less fortunate are left helpless under individualism, as every individual around may feel personal religious responsibility to help those around them. Once again, this isn't a social responsibility to make ads, to lobby Congress, to take another person's money, to give it to another person, but simply one's individual conviction being multiplied across many people to help others. When you think about it, it isn't a wonder why this supposed greedy homeland of capitalist pigs donates more money than any other country in the world. Because it's still deep in our roots that each one of us have responsibilities, and the more responsibilities we take on, whether it's a moral responsibility or just going the extra mile, the more purpose it brings to us. We in the Constitution Party believe in personal responsibility, self-government, and charity. We hold on to family values because that's where most of these values begin. Whether it's the responsibility to your spouse or your children, the decisions you make together that no one else is governing for you, and the gifts that you bring to each other out of love rather than out of social obligation. We lift these things up because it's what we see a free society needs. And it's ultimately because we serve something greater than what those politically motivated activists in academia serve. If you'd like to make a difference, I encourage you to subscribe, as I'll talk more about these issues in the future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in more videos to come.